Hello, in this video I'm going to introduce you to a piece of free graphic design software which is available in browser or as an app form if you're mobile. It's called Canva and you can find it at canva.com. It's a super simple piece of software that allows you to create beautiful graphics from templates or from blank sheets of paper. So the first thing you're going to have to do is sign up for a Canva account. And when you do that, I want you to sign up using your email, your Glow email address. Do not use Google or Facebook. Sign up with your Glow email address. I've already done so I'm going to log in. This is the Canva home screen on a PC, on a desktop, and I'm using the Chrome browser. Let's take a little tour of this. Alright, filling up most of the screen are a whole bunch of templates for logos, animated things, Instagram stories, presentations, and so on. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of templates for anything that you could want to design in here. And they've been arranged in categories for you. You can also find those templates up the top here, again in categories, and other sort of lessons and tutorials about how to use Canva. So for now, I'm going to take you through the process of a little activity that I've set, and it's in the graphic communications course. And the activity is to create an infographic for National Geographic which shows the changing populations of 3 of the world's big cats. And the size of the graphic is 800 by 2000 pixels. Let's take a look at what else the activity says. Got to produce preliminary layouts and thumbnails. We must include the design principle of depth, and we must label that depth in our preliminary layout. That's task 2A. Task 2B is to use Canva to produce a promotional version, that means high quality, of our infographic which has been chosen from our preliminary layouts. And also we've been given some data here, the populations of big cats since 1980, and we can see that for each decade, 1980, 90, 2000 and so on, we can see the numbers of the jaguar, the lion and the tiger. We're going to need to revisit this data later on. Now, it just so happens that the size that I've asked for here, 800 by 2000, matches exactly one of the Canva templates. So we are going to create an infographic. I'm going to click this, and the kind of studio view appears of Canva. We're going to do most of our editing in the white and grey window in the middle here, and immediately we're being offered a whole bunch of templates that we're going to choose from. But before we get into all that, I want to show you my preliminary thumbnail layout. So this is what I decided to do. It's a tall, thin infographic, and I'm going to have a title at the top, and I'm going to have a subtitle underneath it. In the background I've got a photograph of some sort of wilderness, I don't know what yet, maybe it's savannah, maybe it's jungle, I don't know quite yet. But filling most of my infographic right here will be a line graph, because I reckon a line graph is ideal for showing how populations change over time. You may choose a different type of graph, but I'm going to go with line. I'm aware that my graph will need some sort of legend, some sort of key, so I'm going to use photographs of the 3 different cats, and I'm going to write their names beside it down here. The assignment asked me to consider the design principle of depth, and I've made 3 notes here. Layering the content over the background is going to create a sense of depth, so already I've got a couple of layers, I've got the content and I've got a background photo, so that's going to give me a sense of depth. I'm also going to try and defocus the background as well. I don't want the background to interfere with the readability of the foreground, so I'm going to defocus it, and that'll give an even stronger sense of depth. And if that's not possible, I think I might also make the background predominantly cool colours and the foreground warm colours. That separation between cool and warm, cool colours receding, warm colours advancing, is also going to create a sense of depth. So that's the design I'm working with. Let's head back over to Canva and see how we go about doing that. So Canva has immediately offered me dozens and dozens and dozens of possible templates that I can use. And if one of these suits your thumbnail, then by all means grab it. You just click it and drag it into the middle. But I'm happy to start off with a blank template like this. So I'm going to leave it blank. And instead, the first thing I want to do is add a background photo. So I'm going to go to the photos section here. And I'm going to look for something to represent jungle. And I'm immediately presented with hundreds of photographs. These are all available to use. Hundreds of photographs of jungles in here. Now you'll notice that some of these images have got a little crown beside them. To access these images, you have to have the paid version of Canva. We don't have that. We've only got free, so we'll have to ignore the little crowns. And anyway, I'm going to go for this one right here, this first one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it in and I'm going to drop it down on my canvas right there. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resize it so that grabbing the corner pieces here and dragging and trying to make this fill the whole infographic. So you can see that I can only see the bit of the photograph which overlaps the infographic, but I can still slide the photo around and try and find a part of the image that I want to use. Okay. Now, I know that I'm going to be using a line graph here, and in fact I've practiced this already, and I know for a fact that these branches that are sweeping across the middle of the photograph interfere with the line graph. So I'm going to push them out of the way. I'm going to try and get rid of them. I'm going to pop the photograph over here somewhat. And remember, I also said in my consideration around getting a sense of depth, I'm going to try and defocus the background. I'm going to try and blur the background. So let me show you how you do that. As soon as you get something selected in the main view, as I have this photograph, you're given options along the top, little tools that you can use. I can apply different effects to it, right there. I can apply filters, change the colour and then the feel of the image, and I can adjust it as well with sliders. And in here I'll find blur, and I'm going to blur the background, possibly about that much, right there. So I'm going to be happy with that blur. If I wanted to crop or flip the image at this point, I could do it up there as well, but I'm happy with those adjustments. Okay, so there's the background set. Let me show you how to bring in some text. I need a title and a subtitle on this. Let's go over here to text. I'm going to look down for something which I think is going to suit my infographic. I'm going to go for this one right here. I'm going to click and drag it in. And what has come in is a title and a subtitle right here. And I can, just like the photo, I can make this bigger or smaller as I see fit. So let's just drag it a little bit bigger like this. Now to change the words here, I just need to double click in there and it highlights them, and I can change that to big cats, and I can change its subtitle to populations over the years. Yeah, I'm happy with that. How do I change its colour then? Quite easy. I select the thing that I want to change, I go up here and I change, and I'm going to pick a pale orange. Remember I said that I wanted the foreground to be warm and the background to be cool, so I'm going to go orange there. I'm going to pick that one, and I'm going to pick orange for that as well. Now, it's not big enough for me and it's not centred, so I'm going to centre it using this setting here. I'm going to click the subtitle and centre that as well. And I want to make big cats bigger. So I can increase the font size right here, and I think, let's see how big 120 is. Let's bring that down. That's probably a little bit too big. So let's start dropping this down until I can get there we go. Big and cats next to one another. Pop that there. Now, I want to improve the readability of this because I can't see that word over because of the white smudge in the background behind it. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can add a drop shadow to that. Alright, so let's go to effects. And lo and behold, we can add all kinds of effects to this. So I'm going to pop this thing called lift, which just puts a very faint dark glow over the text. I'm going to pop that on and dial up the intensity a little bit on the heading, and I'm going to apply lift to the subheading and pop the intensity of that up and see if that, well, it makes it a little bit better, but it's still not ideal. Let's pop a shadow on instead. Maybe the shadow black. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, let's just mess around with this. So the offset will be the distance from the letters. Yeah, that's looking better. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. Big cats, populations over the years. So I've shown you how to get text in, shown you how to get photos in. Let me show you how you get a graph in now. So we go to elements right here, and we look down until we find charts. Now there's my line graph right there. If the graph you want is not visible within these little thumbnails, we can go to see all, and lo and behold, we get loads and loads. So this looks quite promising. This is a line graph based on warm colours. So let's drag this in. Click and drag, drop it in the middle here. Okay, let's just get this in the right place. So there's some issues with this chart in here, as I can't really read the text. Alright, so with the chart selected, let's go up to colour, text colour, and look what Canva does now. Canva's clever enough to suggest colours that we've already used, and I think I'll pick that same pale peach colour which I used in the title. Okay, and I think text is maybe a little bit big as well, so let's start knocking the text size down a little bit, and let's see what bolding it does. Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a bit more readable. Okay, right. Let's chat about the the graph itself. These lines going up and down the chart. Okay, how do we change those lines? Well, it's quite easy. For every chart that you bring into Canva, you can go up to edit, and you're presented with the data that's been used to make that chart. The data we need to use is contained over in the slides. So I've got 3 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows in here. 1, 2, 3 columns and 5 rows. So we're already set up. Down this first column we have to put the years. So this is 1980, 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020. Like this. And you can see that the chart automatically updates itself. Your job would be is to consider the first column to be the jaguar, the second column to be the lion, and the third column to be the tiger. Okay? Just like here, jaguar, lion and tiger. And go ahead and change all these values in here. Now I'm not going to do that, that's going to take me quite a long time. Okay, but that's how you do it. You change these numbers in here and the lines would automatically change. Okay. So, this isn't finished yet. Okay, you'll recall from my thumbnail that I also wanted photographs down here of each of the animals with their names beside it, and I want the photos and the names to represent the colours that are used in the chart. So I'd like a photo of a jaguar down here with the word jaguar written down with the same peach colour that's represented by its line, and that would allow people to link the photograph of the jaguar to the data in the chart. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that, because that's basically about bringing in photos, which I've already shown you how to do, and it's also about bringing in blocks of text, which I've also shown you how to do. What I am going to show you how to do is, once you've made your image, how do you then get it and download it? it's up here. We've got a download button right here. Okay, so we can go up and we can click the download button. And it's going to offer you a file type. PDF, that's good if you're sending it to print, but we don't want a PDF. We'd be better going for a JPEG. Leave everything else as it is and click the download button. And it will grab a JPEG image of this and pop it in the folder that you usually take downloads from the internet in. So that's a little tour of Canva. There's loads more to explore. There's loads more things you can do with backgrounds and animated videos and things like that. Some other bits and pieces to tell you before we sign off is that all of these things remain editable right up to the last minute. So if I wanted to edit this photograph some more, I can click on the photo and I can adjust it again. Okay, I can adjust it, push its colour around, blur it some more. I can do anything that I want to do. So everything remains editable. And the final thing I want to say is if you want to delete anything, first of all select it and then press the delete key and it will disappear. If you do any of that by accident, you can use the undo button at the top to bring that back. And also if you want to change the name of your document, we do that up here. So I can change the name of the document up here.